Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. It is May 19th today, and we are looking at a new week. A couple things I wanted to share with you guys. Um, the last couple months have been super challenging for me. I've kind of lost direction a little bit on which program I'm gonna go with long term, and I gotta come to terms with a few things here, and I gotta lay it all out for you. And you know, you guys, I have gone through several treatment programs, several spiritual programs, several faith-based treatment programs, several secular treatment programs. I mean, I've done. It's no wonder that I'm kind of an expert in this area, expert in recovery, right? And staying abstinent from the things that used to really mess up my life. And I hate to use the word expert. Gosh, that really kind of does not sound good. But for me, I'm not an expert, but rather somebody who's trying to get more experience so I can stay sober, right? So it's not about being an expert or novice. It's about doing the things that you need to do for you each day at a time, right? And I found that having the channels, because you guys have to remember, like 3 or 4 years ago, I just randomly got sober from alcohol. This was 6 years ago, and the first year or so that I got off of alcohol, I was really lost. I had a family, have a family. I had a wife. I had 2 kids. Have 2 kids. Have a wife. And I didn't know how to live sober without drinking. And I didn't realize that the drinking was as impactful as it was. And now I'm hoping that maybe, since obviously we've done the work now and we're working a successful recovery program, staying abstinent from the things that really, really made our life miserable. But there's a couple things that I really wanted to talk about. And one of them is that I've gone through all these programs. I've gone through secular, faith based, this, that, and I've found that they all offer their own unique qualities, right? Each program or something offers something, but you're also taking a lot of other stuff with it, a lot of crap. And I'm not saying that treatment centers are giving us crap, but really, when you go in, you gotta get something tailored to you that's gonna work for you. Because I went to all these programs, and I had all these faiths kind of shoved at me, and you gotta believe this, you gotta believe this, you gotta believe this, you gotta believe that, you gotta believe that, and I'm like, okay, and then I believed it, and then it didn't get me anywhere. It gave me experience, and it gave me knowledge, and it was tools for my toolbox, and it was also what not to do, right? Because I found out and figured out what not to do. Because by way of elimination, you're doing things like that, right? You're eliminating the things that aren't going to work for you, and you're like, oh, that ain't going to work. Check out, I ain't going to do that again, and you move on to the most successful things that work. And today, I found that living and working a one day at a time program is successful. Excuse me, is successful for me. It affords me a new opportunity each day to not do the things that I used to do, and I still do some of the things that I used to do, but not to the degree or to the detriment, or I don't drink, right? I don't do drugs. I don't do these things that used to really make my life a mess, right? My mom, but my mom, Lori, she told me that it was like I was like a merry-go-round. It was like being on a merry-go-round with me. And in a way, that's kind of insultive, but in a way, it's true, because I kind of was like that. I was on a merry-go-round for a reason, though, because I wasn't brought up in a way that taught me how to cope, right, and how to deal with all the things that I went through. And some of the things that I went through, my mom and dad didn't even know. They don't know. They still don't know, right? So, and I'm not willing to share all that I have in my past, because there's things that, just I'm gonna keep to the vest. But I'm also doing what I need to do today to kind of get myself away from all that. And I wouldn't say cure myself, but I'm in remission from the things that I used to do that made my life so miserable. And I had a really, really good weekend. I had an awesome day Saturday. We went down and spent it with another person in recovery, Jen, and her family. And I'm telling you guys, there's value in everybody's outlooks, insights, views, opinions, beliefs. And she was telling me about how we indoctrinate people with this AA and with NA and with all that, and we beat people down that they have to believe in a God, and they have to do this and they have to do that, and they have to work the steps, and you're an alcoholic and you're an addict. And man, 5 minutes in, I'm here to tell you today, on May 19th of 2025 that I no longer believe in the AA program. I believe that each person can get something out of these programs, but I am here to tell you, after 4 years of having a channel, thousands and thousands and thousands of 24-hour a day videos and AA readings and one day at a time readings and Al-Anon readings and 12 and 12 and the big book and the Serenity Prayer, and all that is great. All that helps us. It's helped us. It's gotten us to where we are today. But we need to be very mighty careful with what we're telling ourselves, because if we sit here and say that we're powerless and that we need to rely on a program or AA or nothing, the only thing you should be relying on is your faith, right? That's your faith. That's something that you have inside of you. And going through AA, going through church, going through all these things that are kind of organized in a way, in a fashion, to herd you into a direction, it helps us. It's experience, and it gives us tools for our toolbox. But I really think we really need to be careful, because that passage that we're on, that journey that we're on, it can be altered by some of these things, and we don't want to take any more time down the wrong road than we have to. So I'm here to tell you guys today that although I went to hundreds of meetings, I've sponsored people, I've had sponsors, I've had wins, losses, ups, downs. I've had a lot of great times in those four walls in AA, but I'm here to tell you guys today that AA is not the answer. And that going to a meeting once in a while, it's not a bad thing. Going to church once in a while, obviously, is not a bad thing. But it's who we get integrated with and organized with, and the things that we push that might have dire effects or consequences for other people, including ourselves. So, with this, you guys, I am thinking about trying to find a new way of giving you guys inspiration through readings. I'm not going to use the AA one so much anymore. We might go on it once in a while and check it out, but I pulled it up today and I read it, and I'm just like, the one part really sounds good, and we'll read that. And it says, "He brought me up out of a horrible pit, out of the miry clay, and set my feet upon a rock and established my goings." The first part, "He brought me up out of a horrible pit," means that by turning to God, by putting our problems in His hands, I am able to overcome my sins and temptations. So He set my feet upon a rock means when I trust in Him, all things, I have true security and serenity. I have established my goings. That means that I honestly try to live the way God wants me to live, and I will have God's guidance in my daily living. Now, not everybody is in tune or in line with the God theory, right? So a lot of people think that what you're spreading is wrong, but it isn't wrong. It's just different, right? It's tailored to each person. And like I was saying in the beginning of the video, I've been through a lot of my life, and some experiences might help me in my life, and some experiences that I've had might not help you. So it's tailored to each person's journey. And if you're looking for a journey that's going to put you in the right direction, follow people that are being truthful with you and not trying to get you to believe something. Because as soon as somebody's trying to get you to believe something, then they have an agenda. And as soon as the agenda gets brought forth, and there's agenda afoot, then what is that agenda? To get you to believe something so they can gather more believers, so they can... I don't know. I honestly don't know. People do things, for many different reasons. And I was on a really good podcast, or I was on a really good live stream last night from Kevin over at Butler's Customs, and he's talking about motorcycles, and that's what inspires us, right? That's what keeps our keeps our clock ticking. Is some of the things, the things and places and hobbies and things that we do that's going to help us. And not everybody's in recovery, so they don't even realize that they're doing something that might really, really benefit somebody, like working on a motorcycle. If somebody could take those skills that's in recovery and apply all that they knew and learned in recovery and apply it to a new skill or a new hobby like motorcycling, like I have, like you guys, I've made my my life different. I had to go out and do something different. And in 2020, I got, I must have watched too much Sons of Anarchy or something. I don't know. But in 2020, I had made it 10 years illegal narcotic free, right? I didn't have to use anything in 10 years drug-wise. I was still drinking in that time, unfortunately, but I have a pretty good span of abstinence from heroin, meth, cocaine, amphetamines, and things like that. And so at 10 years, I was like, man, I just quit drinking. I'm feeling good. I'm within that first year, and I'm early in recovery. And my wife's like, if you want to get a motorcycle, you can. And I was like, yeah, let's do it. So I went and bought a motorcycle, and of course, I bought the cheapest one on the lot. It was a Sportster. And I had no idea that I was going to take that Sportster and totally make it mine and totally personalize it, customize it. And it's got a stage one, it's got a new seat, it's got handlebars. This is all over 5 years, right? I'll take a picture and I'll post it for you. But I think I'm in the upper 30s for mileage on that thing. In 2023, I have a certificate to prove it that I put 14,000 miles on in one season, and I got recognized through the Hog Group. And I'm going to put on that and probably a little bit more this year. But I'm not doing the mileage thing with Hog anymore because I don't care. I don't care if they keep track of my miles or not. They didn't do a very good job of it. So, you know what? I'll get 15,000 miles, and I'm not even going to register it with the Hog Group. After 5 seasons, imagine the experience. And hand to God, my right hand to God, I haven't had any safety issues or injuries or concerns. Nobody's gone off the road. I think we had a couple people tip bikes over a couple times here or there. Really minor parking lot tip over type stuff. I know Joni tipped her bike over on one of our rides one time, but none of my personal rides that I lead have resulted in any kind of broken bike or injury. Thank you, Father. All the rides that I've been a part of have been safe. And that's 40,000 miles of safety, right? That's 14,000 miles in one season of doing something and learning and experiencing ups, downs, looking like a fool, looking like a cool guy. It's ebbs and flows. And then sooner or later, like this, now we got 4 years into this channel, and we're slowly transitioning into a different type of channel. We're no longer preaching and doing all that sort of stuff. But what we're going to do now is try to form a new channel here. And so I'm excited, you guys. So for me, a month ago, I went to Texas, and I want to share this experience with you guys before I let you go. And I tend to, I'm out making friends. It doesn't take a lot to befriend me. Okay, let the truth be known, right? It doesn't take a lot to befriend me. I mean, you give me a smile and you're probably going to lure me in, and I'm going to end up talking to you one way or the other. But some people don't have the best of intentions, right? And I took a trip about a month ago to Texas, and it took me a while to figure out who I was going to bring with on that trip. And I ended up taking a guy that I didn't know so well, and it ended up not going so well. And my wife asked me the other day, she said, do you think you exaggerated at all about that trip? And I said, absolutely not. I said, no way. I said, that guy was way out of bounds, way out of place. Not my place to apologize to him for ruining my trip, half of my trip. I told my wife, I said, you know what? An apology from that person to me directly, personally, would mean a lot, because I didn't want to be choked. I didn't want to be headbutted. I didn't want to have the back half of my trip ruined. I didn't want to have to be put into a position like that, right? And so it reminded me that in the last month, I've been going through this kind of a crappy feeling inside, and we have to let that go, right? It's an epiphany. It's an epiphany. In recovery, we're going to come up against people, places, things, behaviors, ups, downs, slips, trips, all arounds, right? We're going to come into these things. And whether somebody punches you in the face or says an insult or gives you a dirty look, these are all things that we can take in stride. Maybe not so much, physical attacks or assaults. And when somebody physically assaults me or attacks me and they're over the age of 60, I don't have much recourse, because one punch might put this guy out, and then I'm in jail for murder in Texas. So for me, I just took it. I accepted the way it was. God told me to lay off. It just felt like the spirit in my life was telling me to be calm, right? And to lay down your arms and to not be aggressive. And although I did yell at this person, I for the first time in my life took it. I took it, you guys, and it was hard. It was difficult, because this person lives in my community and hasn't even said sorry to me directly. Nothing. So, it goes to show me that, and, I got to be really careful. We got to be really careful with who we let in our life. And when we trust in that faith, in that higher power, that everything's going to work out, we really have no worries to worry about, right? We shouldn't sit here and think and dwell on the things that happened in the past. And when things like that happen, it has some pretty wide ranging consequences for me, because this person that assaulted me was also in a nonprofit that I was a part of, and that nonprofit is going through a really hard time right now, and I would have really liked to have been there to help them with whatever they got going on. But unfortunately, as a result of me being assaulted and not wanting to be assaulted again by people's unpredictable behavior, I had to separate myself from that group, because nobody in the group has given me an opportunity to speak to the board. I'm out here thinking, if we can be a part of each other's lives in a positive way to help each other stay sober, it's an amazing thing, you guys. And we're going to come into challenges, ups, downs, slips, trips, all arounds. And I'm just hoping that you guys are staying safe out there, staying brave. No matter what happens out there today, you guys, hit life head on. Don't give up. Don't relent. Keep going. Yesterday we put on 250 miles on the motorcycles, and it was good. It was a good day. It was good to spend time and to get to know them a little bit better. And you guys, I hope you guys are all safe and sober out there. I gotta let my cat in. Hold on. So, I mean, we're coming to the back half of this message, and there are a lot of great people and groups and things out there that need our viewership and our attention and our like and our subscribe and all this. But really, at the end of the day, what's most important is that your ducks are in order, or whatever, however you say that, right? That your house is in order and that your steps are taken care of. And when I say steps now, I mean, I'm just saying the steps that you need to take into active recovery, right? Because some of these programs are going to want us to believe in things that might not necessarily feel right. And that could be a big red flag for you guys when you're coming into a program or something, to be careful and always be aware that there are things out there, organizations and things, and that want you to be a part of it, not because you're a kind, generous, nice person, but because you're a body, because you're giving them money and support and stuff like that. And that's okay. But if it's going to affect your life in a negative way, then it might be perhaps better to look for something that might be more suitable for you and your family, and more up your alley. And I'm a totally abstinent person from alcohol. I don't like being around alcohol. I don't even like going into the bar or bar and grill and watching people drink, but I do. And I'm around it, and I'm okay with people doing that, but I have to limit myself around it, because I found that I was hanging around a lot of people in groups, and a lot of bars, and they were drinking, and it's subconsciously, subliminally for me, it could be detrimental to my recovery to be around that all the time, and to watch people pour beers out of a pitcher, and to crack beers, and to have this and have that. Being around that and watching that, I mean, it doesn't affect me like on the surface level, but who knows what that's doing subconsciously. And I found myself in the last couple months being a little bit more negative and a little bit more like, I don't know if I'm going to make it kind of thing. But this last couple weeks have been really good, and I feel really confident that we're going to be making having a good summer, and that everything's going to go good. So you guys, if you need anything, please reach out. But this channel is here for you guys to comment and to get down. So yeah, get down in recovery and help other people, help yourself. And most certainly help yourself. So indeed, there will be more messages at other times and other days. I just don't know if it's going to be including all the AA stuff anymore. So here we are. God bless you. Have a wonderful Monday. I'll see you later. Hey guys, I just wanted to mention too that we should still be praying for Chris and his recovery. The Fox 9 did a piece on him last night. That was pretty moving. And just be aware that he's going to need your continued prayers. So, thank you.